The Army's once heralded unmanned assault battalion is ditching its dedicated drone directive and getting back to basics after existing for just a few short months. Back in January, the 3rd Battalion, 504th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 173rd Airborne Brigade was stood up to take lessons on drones from Ukraine and test them in a battalion-wide setting before rolling out new technologies, tactics, techniques, and procedures to the rest of the force. And that makes a lot of sense. It isn't really a secret that the United States appears to have fallen behind in drone warfare. While Ukraine is holding military parades of unmanned systems and assaulting positions using combined arms of unmanned ground vehicles and small unmanned aerial systems, we still have accounts bragging about dropping grenades from a drone. So what in the hell is the Army doing here? Today we are going to answer that by getting into what the Army did, why they say they did it, how this differs from how others like the Marine Corps are operating, and finally, why this isn't really the end of the world that many seem to think it is. First off, the Army didn't just create a brand new unit to test drones. Back in January, under the direction of then Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, the Army inactivated the 1st Squadron of the 91st Cavalry Regiment and reflagged it as a 3rd Battalion, 504th Parachute Infantry Regiment. The reflagging itself was not unique. In Alaska, the Army made almost the exact same move when 1st Squadron 40th Cavalry Regiment became 1st Battalion, 511th Parachute Infantry, and there were also several other units who did the same thing. But what made 3504 unusual was the experimental drone mission placed on top of the otherwise conventional transformation. This came amid a broader transformation in the Army, where jobs like cavalry scouts were being scaled back to fill in shortages elsewhere, or they were just converting them back to plain old infantry. When 3504 was activated, the commander, Lieutenant Colonel Austin Commons, said, "A paratrooper in this formation today is just as likely to kill an enemy by flying an explosive drone into their position than by shooting them with a rifle. The U.S. Army must and will transform to dominate this battlefield." To do this, the general idea for the Germany-based 3rd Battalion was to learn from Ukraine by working directly with Ukrainians and studying their dedicated unmanned formations, then bring those lessons back to implement during training exercises to see how it could work. If something worked, it would be rolled out to Big Army. This was a big effort, and that's why it was a pretty big surprise when it was announced that 3504 was going back to basics as an airborne infantry battalion. This came at the direction of Acting Army Chief of Staff General Christopher Leneve, who took over after General George was removed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth back in April. This battalion testbed approach is similar to how the Marine Corps has functioned for years in testing new or experimental weapons, concepts, and doctrine. Even during the peak GWAT years around 2010-2011, Marine infantry battalions were set aside to test stuff, and it is out of these designated testing battalions that a lot of lessons were learned. A great example of this is when, back in 2021, the Marines began what they called the Infantry Battalion Experiment 2030 as part of Force Design 2030, involving 1st Battalion 1st Marine Regiment, or 1-1, along with 1-2 and 1-3. This would last for 2 years and produce a lot of lessons, some negative and some positive. One major finding was that reducing the battalion from roughly 900 Marines to 735 made it operationally unsuitable. The idea here was that new technology like drones would allow these smaller formations to have the same impact as the larger ones, but it didn't quite work out that way. Lieutenant General Karsten Heckel put it a little more bluntly, saying, "We essentially broke the battalion." So the Corps responded by increasing the design to 811 Marines and restoring machine gunners, anti-armor specialists, mortarmen, and other supporting capabilities. At the same time, the experiments helped validate organic reconnaissance drones, loitering munitions, and precision fires at lower levels. Marine units are now beginning to field ISR and FPV attack drones down to squads because of this. The Corps has also established the Marine Corps Attack Drone Team Aquatica Code to develop and test attack drone tactics, and the Marine Corps Robotics Integration Group at 29 Palms that turns validated lessons into standardized training for the wider force. Because of these battalion-sized experiments, new capabilities and ways of using them were pushed quickly to the rest of the Fleet Marine Force. The success that Marines have had with this approach makes the Army's recent decisions all the more perplexing. So why is the Army doing this? Officially, 3504 will complete 2 culminating exercises in Germany, turn over everything it learned during the past year, and then return to its core warfighting tasks as an airborne infantry battalion. One official said that the exercises were always intended to be a decision point when the Army would reevaluate the experiment. And there is a reasonable argument for that. The 173rd is a forward deployed brigade, and 3504 is one of its 3 infantry battalions. The Army may not want to sacrifice 1/3 of the brigade's conventional infantry strength indefinitely. Drones are also being distributed throughout regular formations, so a special battalion was never supposed to become the only place where that expertise lived, and not that anyone is saying that, but there are some people who think that this was going to be the only place, and that just isn't the case. But the Army's explanation only works if 3rd Battalion actually completed its assignment. Right now, the Army hasn't released an after-action report, explained which tactics worked, identified what will be adopted, or named another organization that will continue its battalion-level work. The timing of all of this also raises questions. General Randy George strongly supported putting emerging technology directly into operational units. Officials reportedly expected the drone mission to continue while he was Army Chief. That expectation changed after George left and Leneve took over. Leneve's recently published Army Azimuth says the next war will not resemble the last and calls for pairing soldiers with autonomy and artificial intelligence, but it also emphasizes conventional readiness and what he calls the timeless truths of warfare. That doesn't really prove that he opposes drone experimentation, but it does suggest a change in emphasis. And while the leadership change may not explain the decision, it does change who was protecting the experiment, and the mission did not survive that change. This old guy out, new guy in tendency where incoming leaders discard previous initiatives so they can launch their own seems pretty pervasive, and in my opinion is a major contributor to military bureaucracy, wasted money, and reforms that never survive long enough to be properly evaluated and implemented. Now, to be fair, the Army is not giving up on drones. Transforming in contact brigades are testing reconnaissance drones, FPV systems, loitering munitions, robotic vehicles, and new drone formations. The Army also has an experimental force inside 1st Battalion, 29th Infantry, along with tactical UAS platoons, aviation drone companies, and numerous test centers. But what it may no longer have is a standing infantry battalion whose primary assignment is figuring out how all these systems change the battalion as a complete fighting organization. And there is undeniable value in having that, not just to try stuff out, but also to present a formidable opposing force or OPFOR against other units. As we've seen with recent training exercises against Ukrainian formations at Combined Resolve, you can learn a lot from those experiences. And before you get into the comments and declare the United States washed because of a limited training evolution, please just understand that many of these exercises are structured in a way to force certain outcomes or scenarios to better identify weaknesses. It's kind of like a sparring match where one opponent is limited to only left hooks or something like that. Ultimately, we just cannot determine whether ending the mission was sensible until the Army explains what 3504 learned, and that after-action report may never become public. If the battalion produced useful tactics and successfully transferred them to the wider force, this could be the normal conclusion of a successful experiment. If not, the Army may have dismantled the exact kind of organization it needs before giving it enough time to work. Now, I know you all have thoughts about this, and I really wish you would share them down in the comments, because we're not really trying to sway you one way or another. We really just wanted to present what happened, how it happened, why they said it happened, how other places like the Marine Corps compare to it, and why the Marine Corps is better. I'm just kidding about that last part, even though it may be true. But you gotta hand it to the Marine Corps. They really do seem to be doing a lot with drones, while the Army is not really lagging behind, but they're not making huge progress that's visible. So let us know what you think about this in the comments. And now I'll just move to a simple channel update time. So I wrote this, recorded it, edited it, recorded it, obviously. And you're watching it, so thank you for that. Yeah, we're just doing a different format if you haven't seen the shorter ones. These are just videos where we could do 20 minutes, but it would mostly be fluff bullshit just to reach that certain time. So these, we'll release these a little more regularly, shorter, 10 or so minutes, giving you what you need to really make informed opinions about things, and then going about your business so that you can go drop knowledge in other places, or, just know things for the sake of knowing them. So if you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, also let me know. I don't think we'll really change what we're doing so much right now, but it is what it is. And we're just trying to get the best information out there to as many people as possible. And so thank you for being a part of that. And now I'm going to shut up. I'm Kyle, your friendly ginger man. You are all dismissed. Thank you so much for being here for this awesome opportunity. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you next time.